Greetings and salutations, my name is JW608 and today we're playing StarMade. And today I'd like to go over the lazy miner circuit. So let's just build it first and we'll talk about it later. So the first thing I need is a place for it. So I am going to add a little room here. I use a template, I call it 5 small room. Is it small room? Small room. I have too many templates and not enough all at the same time. So let's see. Which is the door? It's right there. So I just need to do something like this and back him up 5. Oh no. That's already backed up. Alright. You just get to plop it down. Alright. So I'm going to put the logic in not there. Okay. Undo. There we go. And alright, that should work better. Paste. No, don't copy, paste. Because that was the bottom of the wall, not the top of the... Alright, I got it. Don't worry. Alright, I'm going to have the logic in this room right here, so it's not out in the open, but it's still easily accessible. Okay, so let's see what we need. We need these things. Alright, I guess before we start building, let's go over a quick and dirty primer on logic, because I've had some questions. Alright, so this is an activation module. This is your basic logic input. You also have a button, wireless and all that, but we're only going to go through the activation module, the inner ship remote. We're going to need an not, a delay module, and an and. So we're going to see what each of these do. All right, first of all, our activation module, it's either yellow or blue. And in logic, that is either low or high, off or on. Blue is on or high, I guess is a better way to put it. And you can connect them by looking at one, pressing C, and looking at its counterpart and pressing V. And this is the master, that is the slave. So whatever this does, it affects it, so the output goes that way. Alright. And you can disconnect by pressing V, the same way you connected. Alright, so that is an activation. It's either on or off. Next, we have what we call the logic gates. And when you first hook up logic, that doesn't actually do anything. You probably have to cycle through it first. So what the idea of the not is it inverts the signal. So this activation module is on, therefore the not is the opposite of this. So it is off, or low. I turn the activation module to low, or off, it sends the high or on signal to the not. And it's just inverted. So that's what that does. The and takes 2 signals, or it actually takes many signals. You can just have one, but it takes many signals. So let's see, let's put in, or as many as you want. Let's put all of these, or let's attach these 2, and it will turn blue. It'll get the high signal once it receives high signals from all of its inputs. And notice that that did not change because you have to cycle the logic. So right now, this will only go active or turn on, when all of these activation modules are turned on. If any of them are off, the and doesn't turn on. Now, if you'd like it to be either or, there is an or gate. We call these gates. Is that the or? That's the or. We aren't using the or today. That's for a different thing. All right. Another one we're going to be using is the delay signal, or the delay block. What do they call it? Delay signal, yeah. And it doesn't really do good with All right, let's see. I guess we can chain them. That'll probably be the best way to look at it. So this activation is the master of this delay, which is the master of this delay, which is the master of this delay, and so on and so forth. What that does is when I activate it, it waits a moment, then sends the signal on. And you can use the activation module, and that's a solid signal. And it waits, I think, like half a second or something like that. So it should take, what, 2.5 seconds? So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, yeah. About half a second. It receives its signal and passes it on about a half second after it receives it. And you can also do pulses with it if you use a button. A button's like an activation module, except it sends a short burst instead of a steady signal. See, the activation module sends a steady signal. The button sends a pulse. All right. And then we have, and then we have the inner ship remote. You press R on it, you can name it whatever you want. Test. So then when you go into fly mode and hit G, you'll notice that it's turned into a hotbar item. So I can activate it, turn it on and off using the hotbar. See? Alright. When you get rid of it, it removes it from there. Alright, so those are the blocks we're going to be using. I guess I should explain the basics of the lazy miner. We want to build a clock. Basically is what this is. It's a glorified clock. Your basic clock is a knot, or is an activation, a knot, and a delay. Well, this isn't the most. The most basic is a knot and a delay. Yeah, that is the most basic clock you can build, is a delay and a knot. And you feed them into each other. Each is the slave of the other. Then you activate the delay, then hit it again, turn it off. That activates the knot, which sends a signal back and forth. So it gets into a infinite loop. And that is the absolute basic logic clock you can build in StarMade. Now, I want greater control over it. So, I guess I should mention that salvage beams can be triggered by logic. See, even just hitting the button will turn this on for a whole tick. I have to wait for the cooldown. We'll turn it on for the whole tick, so it doesn't have to be a button. It could be an activation module. Although, wait a minute. Huh. That's not refreshing the beam. Okay. This is not the way that should work. Okay, that appears to be a bug. Now there is a bug with controlling the salvage computer with the logic right now. It does not work the way it should. That has been addressed by Schema, and he's looking into it best I can tell from what I've heard from the official Discord. Anyway, I'm going to fancify the clock, and my delay signal is going to be controlling the salvage computer. So that way, with each tick of the clock, it'll refresh the beams there. Alright, so I need a delay. Actually, let's start with the base. I want an activation module and a knot. So, this activation module controls this knot. That's what it does in life. Now, I would also like an inner ship remote. I'm going to call this one salvage. No, actually, I'm going to hit the wrong buttons. I'm going to call it salvage. Salvage? Salvage. Age or age? I is good at spelling. Age. Okay. Salvage. Anyway. Alright, I want both of these to feed into an AND. So, this should be low because the knot is low, and the inner ship remote is low. But if I come back here and I come to salvage and I turn it to high, and notice in the hotbar it turns blue, and then I click this, the not is now high, and therefore that and is high. Alright. And then I want the and to feed into a display or a delay module. So now when I turn this on, it should turn that on. Now this doesn't actually do anything, it's not a clock because it's not recursive yet. So I want this delay module to control this activation. So let's turn that off. Turn on our inner ship remote. Now when I turn this one off, it should, when I turn off the activation module, it should set this not to high, this and to high, this module to high. In a half second, it'll turn off this, or back on this activation. So there we go, there's a clock. And this is the basic, the fundamental of the lazy miner circuit. Now, I have a few things different than just a pure clock. Notably, I have this activation module here to help it with control. And I have the inner ship remote so I can turn it on and off in flight mode, so I don't have to hop out of flight mode or into build mode and hunt down circuits, or hop into astronaut mode and wander around the ship to find logic I need to hit. I used to do that, but I found a better way. So this is the lazy miner circuit, except I need to take this delay and attach it to the salvage. Now when I turn this on, I have salvage, and it is firing. And it is very slowly picking up blocks. Again, this is not the way it's intended to work. Schema is working on fixing it, so it works better. Because right now it's targeting a single block, and it's kind of weird. Alright, so that is the lazy miner circuit. Address a couple things, questions, whatnot. Is this the most effective way to use it? No, it is not. The lazy miner circuit has never been the most efficient way. Even back when you could have secondaries for salvage, because this is just straight salvage. The old way was having a secondary slaving equal amounts of cannon to salvage so you can click and hold. That's now the default salvage module. Well, I've always used just straight salvage with this logic clock. I call this the lazy miner circuit because I'm lazy. It is not the most efficient way to mine, never has been, never will be. But it means I don't have to hold down my left mouse click while I mine. I can just turn it on, I can tap the directional key, and I'm slowly sweeping this asteroid. And in normal circumstances, without the salvage lasers being bugged, it would just chew through this asteroid as I slowly move down it. Again, this is not its intended way it should be behaving. It's the way it's behaving now, but as I said in the StarMade Discord, the official Discord, that has been addressed. I think it was either canon or official coding. It may have been official coding that asked or saw Schema talk about it and sent me a screenshot of it. The screenshot of it's somewhere on my Discord. If you'd like to join my Discord, there's a link in the description. You can talk about lazy miner circuits or whatever. In fact, you could just sit here and, even with it not working quite right, just sit here and let it do its thing. I typically like to mine by either having some music or a YouTube video up on my second monitor. Right now it's OBS, but having a second video or something and just pointing my big laser at a rock and watching Jace Machine or whatever, Linscap or whomever I'm watching that day. Or listen to music. Actually, it was quite beautiful. I thought, if you got your ship moving just a little with the beams, and sit here watch your asteroid mine to classical music, I've done that, and that's very relaxing. oddly satisfying watching an asteroid just get chewed apart. And also, this ship is not intended to be a tremendously efficient mining vessel. Its primary purpose in life is going to be its factory system, but I wanted it to have mining capabilities because it's going to be a mining ship, basically. You just said it wasn't a mining ship. I know. I'm all contradictory like that. I don't need that there. My brain's telling me something's different here, but it's not. It's good. All right. So that is the lazy miner circuit. And if you ever want to disconnect the circuit, you don't even have to turn it off, but just hit C on your core, V on the salvage, and that has put the salvage computer back. So now I can hit salvage here, it won't fire, but my clock will still work. And I just click and go, woo! And see, that is much more efficient. It's chewing through the asteroid quicker and all that good stuff, and it's going to work until the patch, or until the bug is patched. But my finger gets tired. So even then, I'll probably still do this because I don't want to hold down. Now I just point the mouse. Because as the name implies, I'm lazy. I don't want my finger to hurt. How did you get carpal tunnel syndrome? Mining imaginary rocks with a laser? Alright, anywho, I have been JW608. This has been the Lazy Miner Circuit. If you have any questions or comments, angry exhortations, whatever, hop in my Discord and drop it somewhere. Probably a StarMade channel, probably be nice. And discuss it, talk about it, share your own favorite logic circuits, whatever. Go to the Pandemonium channel and drop a funny picture. Oh, I've changed all that to wrong. That's better. Alright, anywho, let me turn this off, and I'll see you later when we continue to work on this ship and get something to fill up our power system with. Alright, I'll dig you cats later.